Hi dear Truth Warriors, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Petra Van Dale. I'm a life coach, breathwork facilitator and advocate for survivors of narcissistic and emotional abuse. So with us moving through the first week of the new year, I thought it was very important, and it is important, to speak about financial abundance as opposed to the under-earner through narcissistic abuse. Now, first off, the way we are raised and the way we develop a relationship with finances or money does not always have to do with narcissistic abuse. But because this is what I always speak about, is the impact of narcissistic abuse, I thought today I just want to tie these two in together, the impact of narcissistic abuse on your financial abundance, your financial well-being. And this is partly also due to the fact that I've spoken to so many men and women through the years who say, I know that I'm well educated, or maybe not even well educated, but I know that I am a hard worker, and I know that I put in all the effort and I give 1,000% of myself, and I always come up short. I'm always lacking financially. So this I've heard so often, and I must say I myself have been enslaved to the belief that we hold about ourselves with regards to money. So this is why I thought it would be a great opportunity to just bring up this subject, and please, leave your comments down below and your experiences with this topic. When we have been through narcissistic abuse, or when we have been raised with the mentality, the mindset of lack, this carries throughout our whole lives until we do something about it. So when coming out of a narcissistic relationship, we have been conditioned and programmed in those relationships or friendships or family ships, whatever ship you may be in or on, or whatever ship you have been on, is that we take on the belief system of the narcissist and we make it our own. We identify with it. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, I've written down some sentences that I know I've said to myself very often. My inner critic, who is always on at me, I have to turn the volume down on that inner critic so very often, which you can do once you become aware and conscious of the way you speak to yourself. So I've written down a few points with regards to the belief system, the very limiting belief system that we carry with regards to finances. So I've written down 7, but there are so many others that maybe you could add to. The first one is, it's hard to ask for what I need or deserve. Number 2, I often give away time, money, and energy. Number 3, I can make do with lack, or I can settle with what I'm earning. I don't have boundaries. I over-deliver and under-receive. That would be number 5. Number 6, I continually put my clients' needs or other people's needs before my own. And number 7, most of the time I'm stressed out, or all of the time I'm stressed out. This has to do with our belief system. So just to come back to what I said at the beginning of the video, where we don't believe, or we believe that we put in so much effort and we're well educated, or maybe not educated at all, but we are lacking in financial wealth. So I don't believe that earning has anything to do with your education or with your effort. It has nothing to do with that. Because someone who is uneducated, someone who maybe never finished high school, who never finished primary school, and still makes a lot of money, that has nothing to do with a lack of effort or a lack of education, is the word I was looking for. And it has everything to do with your belief system. Because whatever we continue to tell ourselves, the narrative we hold about ourselves determines how we move through life, determines what we are willing to receive, determines what we are willing to give. So it has nothing to do with your education or your effort. This has everything to do with your belief system. So the points that I just went through, the inner critic, the points that I shared with you, this is where you need to make the switch. Because, for example, the friendships that I was in, I've spoken many times about the narcissistic friendships that I was in. And every time when I was in those friendships, my business would start to fail. Less money would be coming in. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the bandwidth to coach clients, to move on with my business, to develop my business. I was so focused on these narcissistic friendships and what they needed. And very often out of these 4 friendships, there were 2 who were also or are also female entrepreneurs. And I would do everything in my power to help them forward their business, to help them make more money. And this is not to show off, this is not to be arrogant, but this was my mindset at the time. Let me help that person. I see that person struggling. I see that they need maybe my expertise or my input or my feedback into getting them to earn more money. So this was simply a mindset, and I was so unconscious of it at the time. So I did everything that I could to please this narcissistic friend or friends and help them evolve and grow their business. And my business in the whole process was suffering. My bank account was suffering. So this goes to show, the mindset that you may have already had from your family of origin, or it had been programmed into you from the start of these narcissistic ships. And when you are unaware of it, when you're unconscious, you just go through it. You're on automatic pilot. You just do what is demanded of you in some cases. And you put the other person on a pedestal. You are very gushing with compliments on how well they're doing, how business-like they are, business-minded, how they are improving, and you're the cheerleader. You're always cheering for them. And it is at the expense of your own financial well-being. So, your belief system and in being an under-earner is undermining your right to financial wealth and financial abundance. This is what your belief system does. And today we're specifically speaking about the financial side of it. But of course, in every aspect of your life, this can leak through. This belief system, this undermining your value, undermining your talents, your qualities, your traits, undermining all of that. And by doing so, you are also undermining your right to financial abundance. So when you become aware of the way you're speaking to yourself, the narrative you're holding, of your belief system, that is when you can go about changing it. So I know I've done this for very many years where I undermined my value, undermined my expertise, undermined my talents. And this was all throughout these narcissistic friendships. So again, when you become aware, that's when you can change it. And it is the way you speak to yourself. So just to use one, for example, where I said point number 4, I had no boundaries, which was true. In my practice, when interacting with clients, I wouldn't always have, especially in the beginning of my career, I wouldn't have solid boundaries that I would set. So if I said to the person, okay, the call is going to be an hour, you're going to have a coaching session of an hour, I would always go over to an hour 15, an hour 30 minutes, an hour 45 minutes. And especially in the beginning, sometimes I remember there was one particular person that I sat on the call with for 3 hours because I didn't have those healthy boundaries set up. And so I coached and I let them speak, and I coached and I let them speak, and 3 hours went by. And in the end, I had to, of course, stop the call. I had to use the bathroom. I had to get dinner going. But I was so afraid of the consequences involved if I would say to this client, I need to end the call after an hour. And again, this comes back to the belief system. I'm not allowed to end the call. This person needs the space to talk, needs the space to speak their truth. I cannot charge more for this call because then what will they think of me? That I'm only after their money? So this is the little inner critic, the voice that continuously talks to us. And I was not aware of it, where people around me were, and they would say, you need to upgrade yourself. You need to upgrade your game. You need to upgrade your fee. And I just didn't see it until I got into a very honest conversation with myself and wrote down the narrative, the story that I tell myself about myself, which had been programmed through the narcissist belief system. I took that on as my own. I identified to that. So it's okay. I'll just live in lack. I'll settle for crumbs. I won't have boundaries. I can't have boundaries because I'm afraid to communicate my boundaries to the other person. What if they don't like me? What if they never come back? What if they never book a second call with me? All of these incorrect messages that we continuously repeat to ourselves, which resulted, of course, in me becoming stressed and more stressed and more stressed because I was putting in the effort and I knew that I had the talent and I knew that I had the expertise, but just kept on putting in all of this effort and showing up with a lack, a financial lack. So looking at that belief system and changing it, you don't have to give it an overhaul overnight. It's impossible. But if you can simply become aware and make a commitment to yourself to change that belief system step by step. For example, it's hard to ask for what I need or deserve. That was the first point that I shared with you. It's hard to ask for what I need or deserve. And this has nothing to do with the other person. So often, when the inner critic is talking to us, we feel that it's about the other person. We need to accommodate the other person. We need to make them feel comfortable. No, it's about prioritizing yourself. And it's not selfish, it's self-care. You need to prioritize yourself. So just looking at that statement, it's hard to ask for what I need or deserve. Is that the truth? Yes, partly. The truth being that, yes, it is hard, especially when you haven't been taught that from the narcissistic friendship, familyship, relationship. So it's very hard to ask that, to step out of your comfort zone and do things differently. But this is where courage comes in. When you can be fearful of making or taking a new step and changing things up for yourself, but you know that at the other side of that is where you're going to find the success, is where you're going to have the blessings, where you're going to experience the abundance, the financial abundance. When you can hold that vision for yourself, that all that I want and all that I deserve and all that I need is on the other side of my fear. And you have the courage. That's what courage is. Courage is not about learning it theoretically. Courage is about stepping through that fear and saying, okay, I'm going to take this first step, the second step, the third step, and I am going to be okay. I am going to be okay. No matter what, I am going to be okay because I'm prioritizing my own needs and I'm not shortchanging the other person. I'm simply prioritizing my needs. And when you prioritize yourself, your whole demeanor changes, your body language changes, the inner critic changes. So the narrative you keep telling yourself also changes over time. So step through that fear, build up your courage muscle, and then reach for whatever it is that you feel that you are deserving of. And if you don't feel deserving, there's work right there. That's your inner work, is to be more mindful and more grateful for your talent. Because so often what we do, if we have we have a scale. So here's all the negative stuff about us and here's all the positive, and the negative always wins. Because if you ask someone, okay, what are you not good at, or what are your down pointers, so to speak? Where do you come up short? People can give you a list within 2 minutes. They can just simply name what it is that is negative or not good about them. And then when you're asked to look at your positive side, what are your talents? What is your passion? People need to think about that. Spend time, invest time in getting to know yourself at a totally different level, seeing your value, seeing your worth, and then raising that up, raising that standard so that you won't have to settle for crumbs, so that you won't have to be okay with a lack. Because money, finances, is all about energy. If your energy with regards to the relationship you have with money is very low, then your income is always going to be low. Those small business owners, I'm one of them myself. If that energy is low, the money energy, then there's going to continuously be a lack. And your right is to have any kind of abundance. And in this case, especially financial abundance. Money is energy. Raise your energy and you raise your income. So don't buy into the narcissist's mindset of always having to come up short, of having to give and not receive in return. Because what we often do is over-deliver and under-receive. And that is just not okay. So you can change your belief system by first becoming aware of it. Get out a book, use your laptop, and write down all the things that all the narrative of yourself, all the beliefs that you hold about yourself, and then challenge them, question them. Is this absolutely true? Am I not deserving? Am I not worth it? Ask yourself this question in absolute truth. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to come up with the answer that the opposite is true. You are worthy. You are talented enough, good enough, slim enough, beautiful enough, whatever it may be, whatever your belief system is. You are so much more than your belief system. You can transcend that belief system when it is no longer serving you. So take care of yourselves, have a great new year, and please let's all work on the financial abundance mindset, because so often, people who have been in narcissistic relationships always have this underdeveloped mindset. And what I mean by that is that you're an under-earner. No matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much expertise, it all has to do with the mindset. So change that up for yourself. Please take care of yourself and speak to you all very soon. Love, abundance, and blessings to all of you.